What happens when the police stop looking, but the questions never go away? For families of the missing, the silence is worse than death itself. And when justice fails, ordinary people step into the shadows, searching for the hidden truth. Unsolved cases linger like ghosts, clinging to dusty files and fading evidence. Every photograph, every name, feels like a haunting reminder that someone vanished without answers. But for amateur sleuths, these cold cases are more than puzzles. They are obsessions. The rise of online forums and true crime communities has changed everything. From Reddit threads to YouTube documentaries, strangers sift through chilling details once buried in police archives. They believe fresh eyes can crack what trained investigators left behind. Some of these disturbing mysteries are tied to real footage, dash cams, surveillance videos, and police recordings. These raw glimpses into true events fuel both horror and hope. Hope that somewhere inside those frames lies a clue overlooked for decades. Consider the psychology behind this obsession. For amateur detectives, the criminal mind is not just an abstract study. It's a predator stalking their thoughts. They replay timelines, map out locations, and reconstruct lives cut short by violence. But here's the chilling reality. Not all cold cases are solved by professionals. In fact, history shows that many breakthroughs came from relentless outsiders. Ordinary people who refused to let victims be forgotten. In 2018, the world watched as the Golden State Killer was unmasked after 40 years. It wasn't police databases that cracked him. It was genealogical sleuthing by citizen researchers. That single discovery reshaped the very meaning of justice in cold cases. Yet this power cuts both ways. Amateur investigations can uncover hidden truths, but they can also spiral into obsession and ruin. Behind every screen name is a human being, consumed by the darkness of another's crime. Some sleuths spend nights scrolling through disturbing evidence, photos no family should ever see. They track suspects across decades, chasing psychological patterns buried in forgotten files. It's a lonely pursuit, often met with skepticism from the very authorities they try to assist. But then a discovery changes everything. One overlooked detail, hidden in plain sight, suddenly reframes an entire case. And when amateurs pull at that single thread, the unraveling begins. Take the disappearance of Maura Murray in 2004. A 21-year-old nursing student, she crashed her car on a remote New Hampshire road. By the time police arrived, Maura had vanished into the freezing night and was never seen again. The case became one of the internet's most disturbing mysteries. Thousands of amateur sleuths swarmed online forums, dissecting every piece of evidence. To this day, no one can explain how a young woman simply disappeared within minutes of a 911 call. Some claimed real footage from nearby security cameras held answers. Others pointed to psychological clues hidden in Maura's final emails. But with no body and no clear suspect, theories spiraled into chaos. The criminal mind thrives in ambiguity. In Maura's case, the hidden truth seemed to shift depending on who was looking. For her family, every rumor cut deeper than the silence itself. This wasn't the first time amateur detectives clashed with law enforcement. Authorities accused online investigators of spreading misinformation. But sleuths insisted the official narrative was full of gaps. And sometimes they were right. History proves police files often miss details that outsiders later uncover. Cold cases are not just about what is known. They're about what was ignored. The Maura Murray forums are infamous for this tug-of-war. Some users mapped every road, every possible hiding place. Others traced psychological profiles of locals who had once been suspects. But the deeper sleuths dug, the more disturbing the case became. Mysterious phone calls, conflicting witness accounts, even claims that evidence had been destroyed or never collected at all. To this day, Maura's case remains unsolved. Yet amateur sleuthing transformed it into one of the most widely studied disappearances in American history. A living reminder that vanishing doesn't mean forgotten. But what happens when these investigations don't just reveal clues, but expose killers still hiding in plain sight. That's when curiosity crosses into danger. And in our next case, it did exactly that. On a cold December night in 2010, police searching for a missing woman stumbled onto something horrifying. Along a stretch of Ocean Parkway, Long Island, they discovered multiple human remains. What began as a missing persons case quickly unraveled into the hunt for a serial killer. The victims were mostly young women, many of them sex workers. Their disappearances had gone unnoticed by mainstream media, buried in silence. But the discovery of a burial ground along the beach forced the world to pay attention. Law enforcement had leads, but little progress. So amateur sleuths took over, combing maps, timelines, and even satellite images. The internet became a digital crime board, connecting dots police never revealed. One of the most chilling details was the last known call from Shannon Gilbert, the woman who first drew police to the area. She dialed 911, terrified, repeating, "They're trying to kill me." Her words still echo through online forums, dissected frame by frame. For years, the case dragged on, unsolved, disturbing, and clouded by conflicting evidence. Families of the victims felt abandoned. And once again, citizen investigators refused to let the trail grow cold. Online sleuths analyzed cell tower pings, creating psychological maps of the killer's possible hunting ground. They compared dumping sites, studying distances and patterns only visible at scale. Every theory pushed the case deeper into public obsession. The chilling part? Some of their theories were right. In 2022, authorities finally announced a major breakthrough. After over a decade, police revealed DNA and cell phone data had led to a suspect, Rex Heuermann. But here's where it gets haunting. Long before the arrest, internet sleuths had circled his name. They had noticed patterns, his home's proximity, his online behavior, that seemed impossible to ignore. For years, he lived an ordinary life as an architect in New York City. By day, he blended into the crowd. By night, prosecutors allege he fed the darkest impulses of a hidden criminal mind. This was the moment amateur sleuthing proved its worth and its danger. The killer wasn't a ghost. He was a man walking among us. And the internet had almost found him first. It was April 1st, 2006. 27-year-old Brian Shaffer, a medical student, went out for drinks with friends in Columbus, Ohio. By closing time, he was caught on real footage from a surveillance camera entering a bar, but never leaving. The tape became one of the internet's most replayed mysteries. Frame by frame, sleuths searched for answers. How can a man walk in and vanish without a trace? Police scoured the building, convinced he was still inside. But there was no body, no blood, no sign of Brian anywhere. It was as if the night had swallowed him whole. Online detectives flooded forums with theories. Some believed he slipped out a hidden exit. Others speculated psychological stress drove him to stage his own disappearance. But the most disturbing question remained: why was there no evidence? Even in unsolved cases, traces usually exist: footprints, sightings, fragments of a life. With Brian, there was only silence. Years passed, and still no answers came. His family begged for help, but leads dried up. Amateur sleuths clung to the case, convinced they could see what police had missed. And yet, like so many cold cases, Brian's story became a mirror, a reflection of our fear of vanishing into the cracks of the world. A reminder that not every mystery ends with resolution. From Maura Murray's Frozen Roadside, to the Long Island serial killer's hidden graves, to Brian Shaffer's impossible disappearance, the line between police files and online obsession blurs. Amateur sleuths have proven they can unearth hidden truths. They reopened cases, exposed suspects, and pushed justice forward where it once stood still. But in doing so, they've also stepped into the darkness of the criminal mind. And so, the question lingers like a whisper. Are cold cases solved because of them, or in spite of them? The answer may decide whether the next vanished soul is ever found, or remains lost forever.